Your application will need to respond to the user input to be of any use. WPF provides two abstractions for handling input: events and commands. Events are closely tied into the visual tree. Mouse and keyboard input always originate from some particular user interface element, the one with the focus for keyboard input, and the one that the mouse or stylus is over for other input. As you've seen, the visual tree can get quite complicated, and you wouldn't want to have to attach a handler to every single element in the visual tree for a control just to ensure that you receive input. So WPF offers event routing to simplify input handling in the face of visual complexity. Event routing allows events to be handled by an ancestor of the element that originally raised the event. There are a couple of routing patterns: tunneling and bubbling. A tunneling event starts from the very root of the visual tree and works its way through the tree to the element at which the event is really targeted. For example, a tunneling event representing a mouse button press would first be offered to the window, and then to the child of the window, and so on until it reaches the target element. Conversely, a bubbling event starts from the target and then bubbles up the tree until it finds an element that wants to handle the event. Events come in pairs. There's usually a preview event that tunnels, followed by a main event that bubbles. The idea of the preview is to give containing elements the first opportunity to respond to an event. So if you've written the code for a particular window, you might want the chance to do something when the mouse is clicked before the control being clicked responds itself. So you could handle the preview mouse down at the window level. And then the bubbling event is usually the main one. It has the simpler name, like mouse down in this particular case. So when the mouse is pressed, once the preview has been raised, WPF just walks up the tree looking for the first element that is asked to handle this event. This means that if your control has very complex visuals, it can handle mouse activity with just one set of handlers, because all of the mouse events will eventually bubble out of those complex visuals and into the containing control. You can handle events using the usual C# event syntax, and we'll look at these details in later chapters of the course. Events tend to be concerned with fairly low-level interaction, such as mouse clicks or key presses, but often applications want to work at a slightly higher level. For example, you might not care whether the user typed Ctrl-P or clicked the print button on the toolbar or selected print off the file menu, because in all three cases you want to respond in the same way. You want to initiate the printing process. So WPF offers the command abstraction to deal with this. This lets you write a single handler for, say, the print command, and then tell WPF which commands are associated with which keyboard shortcuts or toolbar items or menus or buttons. And again, we'll look at the details in a later chapter.